Even though I mostly work on white-backed vultures, my favorite vulture is probably the white-headed vulture. They're beautiful, soft, just a very unusual bird. Yes, I've been bitten by vultures a couple of times. I actually have a nice scar on 2 of my fingers from those bites. I think the coolest animal behavior I've ever seen in the wild was a giraffe actually lifting up a dead wildebeest, kind of a dried carcass, and sucking on the bones. I started working with zoos when I was in high school, and I've worked at several different zoos over the course of my career. I also have an advanced degree in ecology and evolutionary biology. I got my PhD at Princeton, and I think if you want to get into conservation and research on the science side, that's a really useful tool. I think the most important types of research you can do for conservation are applied projects, and so we try to use research that's going to inform conservation management. An example of that was looking at human-hippopotamus conflict and figuring out where in the landscape hippos tend to spend the most time so that farmers could avoid the hippos. North Carolina Zoo is working to save a lot of different species, everything from African elephants to vultures, giraffes, rhinos, Puerto Rican crested toads, and Virgin Island boas. A firecracker. So elephants are effectively walking on their tippy toes all the time, and they have a lot of padding on the bottom of their foot. I had the good fortune of meeting Boku, which just means hippo in Swahili, at Busch Gardens, and even got a kiss from him. I think the coolest experience I had was living and working in a small village called Boku in Ghana, and actually making shea butter, so like pounding it with the women as they sang. The Bateleur eagle, they're an amazing species that have this cool wavering flight that also scavenge, but can feed on a variety of different food sources. The zoo's mission is to protect wildlife and wild places and to encourage others to join us in preserving the natural world. And so we do research and help to save a variety of different species all over the world. Our lions are 21 and 10 years old, and we aren't planning on breeding in the future. The egg. There were lots of other animals laying eggs long before birds evolved. The travel and the field work. Yes, increasingly social sciences and just understanding human behavior are seen as really important tools for conservation, as well as working really closely with the community. So there's a lot of other skills that are needed aside from just the biological sciences. Hippos are often cited as being the most dangerous animal in Africa, but there's actually not much data to support that. They can be aggressive when they're hunted or if you get between them and the water. Probably not in a zoo, but hippos and elephants live closely in the wild, and hippos are able to stay safe by being in the water where they're more agile than elephants. I think just training and working closely with other people, seeing Singira, one of the ecologists who works for the Tanzanian Wildlife Authority, hold his first vulture was a really amazing experience. I work with some really amazing staff, and supporting the staff at the zoo and in the field is really critical. The zoo runs a program called Unite in Uganda that focuses on teacher training. We work with 120 teachers around Kabale National Park, and recently we've also started working with teachers around Queen Elizabeth National Park. And teachers are trained in environmental education and sustainable activities, ways that they can reduce their impact on the local protected areas that they live nearby. I get to be the change that I want to see in the world, and I really enjoy saving animals. Thanks for all your questions. This has been fun. Please tune in next week.